The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Welcome back to another episode of Cashing Out. I'm Wayne Hartod alongside Billy Alvaro, my cousin and business partner, and we own Easy Sell Property Solutions. It's a local family-owned business. We're an investment company based out of Holbrook, New York, about 5 minutes away from where we're recording here in Long Island MacArthur Airport. Folks, we have something we brand. It's called the Easy Way Out. And it's literally the fastest, easiest, most hassle-free way to sell your property in today's condition. If you have a home that you're looking to sell, please reach out to us. 631-400-EASY. That's 631-400-EASY. You can get us on the web at easysell411.com. Instagram, you can get us at easysell411 as well. YouTube channel, you can see all of our stuff. You can hit my cousin or myself. He's Unstoppable BA on Instagram, or myself as Wayne Hartod. Folks, houses that we look to purchase, we do not care any condition that they're in. They could be falling apart, dilapidated. You could be behind on your taxes. You could be behind on your mortgage. Any situation, we have a solution for it. So please pick up the phone, 631-400-EASY. What we can do for you is we can close on your timeline. So if you want to close within 2 weeks, if we have clear title, we can do that. If you want to close 3 to 6 months from now when the kids leave from school, we can also do that. That's one of the conveniences we give you. You could leave your house as is. You can leave it completely packed with stuff. We don't care. We'll move your stuff out. We'll even do a loan. We could actually loan you money to move out, interest-free, which is great. Some people love that. And folks, if we don't close on your timeline, we could actually just give you a credit to closing. It's very rare that ever happens, but we will do that. So, folks, it's all about how we can help you guys out. And that's what we're looking to do, always help fellow Long Islanders. So, Bill, because I don't have you here next to me, which is a little bit odd, but I know he's in remotely. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and I'm actually looking online at both you and Matt, you two handsome bastards at the radio station over there.
That's funny. You're missing all the good stuff. So, folks, who we have on today is actually a childhood friend. I've known this guy since, I don't know, man. I haven't known you since we're probably 5-6 years old. I don't know.
It's
elementary
been a long
school.
Time.
Elementary school. I have Matt Pisani on here, and Matt is going to represent Clean Slate Living, and I want to tell a little bit about his story. He's going to tell us about his story. But this gentleman I've known for many, many years. I've seen him have many, many careers, and I finally found his calling. His business actually was almost started in one of our houses that we'll tell you about later on. So I've seen it as it's grown, and I just couldn't be more proud of him. He's literally wholeheartedly one of the best guys I know, and he's out there helping the community all throughout Long Island. So I just want to introduce him. Matty, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Wayne and Billy. This is awesome, and it's great to see what you guys are building here on Long Island, and I believe just nationally that's coming too. So it's really cool to see us both on this path together.
Yeah, it's great. So, folks, if you don't know a little bit about it, obviously I just told you we've known each other for years, but Matty actually used to, for years, when you start a business, obviously most people know it's not that easy, and it's not really making money at the beginning, and you have to live, I guess you would say, no frills. And there was a time where years ago in our early 30s, I used to live in my houses that Billy and I would renovate and build, and Matty would come along with me, and we would house hop from house to house. And about every two or three every year, or maybe every 3 or 4 months, we would move from house to house.
Quarterly basis,
we would move from house to house to save money, and that's actually how we were able to start businesses. I mean, I just bought into the business with my cousin at the time, and you were just starting this. So I would love to hear, tell everybody about what Clean Slate is and how it started.
Yeah, absolutely. Clean Slate Living for us is a movement now, but it started with my story of recovering from drug and alcohol addiction. And one of the things that we did was we wanted to reach young people in a unique and authentic way. A lot of times you'll go into a school and you'll maybe invite someone in as a guest speaker, and they'll do an assembly, and the kids will come in, and it becomes a lecture moment instead of a love lesson. So we found a way to reach our young people with a heart of love, and just basically going into different situations, scenarios, and even struggles that they're dealing with in the community, and telling them they can start fresh. They can have a clean slate. They can not only wipe their slate clean, but they can rewrite their tomorrow.
That's great. And now that's your biggest slogan, Rewrite Tomorrow. I have it here, and I have it everywhere else. So what kind of situations, Matty? I mean, obviously, I know you're dabbling into a ton of different situations that you hit the high schools and you hit the kids with. What are some of the biggest topics that you guys are dealing with or that you're hammering out these days?
One of our biggest topics is vaping. Vaping is becoming one of the most dangerous addictions that young people are diving into, specifically the 6th graders and up. So they're taking vapes, they're looking at ones that taste like maybe Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids. There's different things that they will vape, and then they'll mix in THC and other elements. So young people are vaping. They don't realize the dangers of it. So a lot of administrators will say, hey, Matt, can you come in and just narrow in on vaping? And that's one of the big topics that we're seeing specifically in Suffolk County.
Wow, and they're in like every shopping center now. I see them in every. They're as popular as a deli these days now, and a bit next to a bagel shop.
It's crazy. It's an epidemic, and what they'll do, Wayne and Billy, is they'll put it strategically on the shelves of where they have candy. So right on the front of the register, there could be some vaping products mixed in with maybe some kids' toys and some candy. So you're aligning these things as a young person, saying, "Oh, that looks like it's something that I could do," and then before you know it, these kids are hooked.
Wow, and these are young.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of sick how these marketers. I mean, they really do have it down to a science, and by them positioning the vape in the candy area, plus having the various types of taste, like you said earlier, it will have the taste of watermelon or something. I mean, they're hooking these kids in so freaking young, and it's pathetic. And are you saying they're starting in sixth grade with this?
Sixth grade, and I'm talking not like just the low-income areas. Man, I've talked to teachers that there's kids in East Hampton that are vaping. So this isn't just, it only happens in certain areas. This is everywhere. This is an epidemic. And even in, I believe, the city of San Francisco, they've started cracking down on it pretty strict. There's certain areas of our country that are realizing the dangers of vaping.
Wow.
So are you seeing this, Matty, as the almost like the entryway into other drugs with the vaping as they're starting? Like it used to be back in the day, you would start drinking a little bit, and drinking would lead to marijuana, or marijuana would lead to cocaine, and cocaine would lead to heroin. Are you seeing the vaping as the entry to the drug world? Yeah,
and it could end with the vaping too, because there's studies that have been shown specifically even at UCLA where they've said, hey, young people can create what's called popcorn lung. And popcorn lung is basically from the chemicals that are in the vapes that can then deteriorate the lungs. And they're showing this in educational videos now to try to show young people this isn't a game. This can actually destroy your life. And there's not enough research to prove. Similar to what happened with cigarettes. There's not enough research to prove that this is so dangerous, right? So in the 1950s, maybe our grandparents or great-grandparents were smoking cigs, and they were like, yeah, this is great. And it was modeled by beautiful people and handsome people. And all of a sudden, years later, we found out, man, smoke is not good for you. It's the same pattern that big tobacco is using with vapes. So you'll see it continuously be maneuvered and disguised through marketing. It's sad.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
The way they market is brilliant in one way, but it's really killing the kids in another.
It's killing our young people.
They utilize that in different fashion.
Yeah, and look how young it is now. It's not even like smoking. They were pushing people, a little bit older people were smoking, but now you're talking sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
Elementary school.
Those are the stats we're getting and firsthand information we get from administrators.
Wow. So what are some of the other big topics that you're handling now?
Our biggest topic that ties into the bullying, to the sexting, the addiction, it's always self-worth. So every presentation that we provide a school, or if we go to a prison, sometimes we go to detention centers, we'll talk about self-worth. A lot of young people nowadays have zero self-worth. They're in an identity crisis, and no one has ever told them that they're worthy. So here we come, not wearing the suit and tie, so we look different than maybe the teacher or the administrator, but as an adult, we can say, hey, you're worthy of so much more than this. And every time we speak that truth into their lives, young people either start to weep, they start to get chills up their spine. They always come up to us afterwards and say, thanks for letting me know that I was worthy. Or thanks for reminding me that I'm not the reason that my father or mom left. So there's deep heart wounds that we've been able to go after through the Clean Slate Living platform to try to bridge these young people to the services in their community.
Wow, that's very, 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 very moving.
Yeah.
For kids like that don't feel that they're worthy. Because that doesn't go away for years.
No, that's something you could carry on into your adult life, and it's something that sometimes people never release. So we're hoping that there's inner healing and deliverance happening while we're there. We're hoping that young people will start hearing truth instead of being in agreement with lies. A lot of young people just agree with the lies of social media, or maybe the bullying that they've dealt with, or maybe it's something that a parent or a guardian has spoken into their life. So we're there to try to say, no, that's not true. You've got purpose. There's purpose in your life.
Yeah, and you mentioned the bullying. I know the bullying was there when we were younger, but it seems like it's just a heck of a lot worse now. Is it just because of the social media and you can see it more often, or is it just really that much worse?
It's not the physical 1980s bullying that we grew up with, right? It's not like, hey, the older guy just gave me a wedgie. Now it's like, oh no, I can exploit you, and I can repost it on my wall, and I can humiliate you in front of the whole country, the whole world. So it's a big issue, and that's where we'll tap in sometimes to the issue of suicide. In other words, there's a lot of young people that will commit suicide because of cyberbullying. So we always tap into that. And you can even see one of our quotes in our one page that we always send out. is a real encounter with a young person that needed to know that he was worthy, and then came up to us after a presentation and said, hey, thanks for letting me know that I'm worthy, and reminded me that this is my year anniversary of when I tried to commit suicide. And one of my board members was there who had never been at one of our events, and he was just cleaning up, unassuming, right? This kid, you never would have known that this kid would have tried to take his life. But that's the stuff we're going after. We're going after the silent victims, the ones that aren't maybe bold enough to speak up. And we're also going after the leaders. Who are the ones that are doing the right thing when no one's looking? Who are the ones that could help initiate this movement in their student body or in their community?
Wow. So take us through, because I know you do a ton of seminars and you're pretty much everywhere throughout, Long Island when you do these seminars. What is that like when you're going in and you're giving this stuff in the high schools? I mean, what can people expect?
Oh, we're bringing a concert. We're bringing a live motivational concert to your school. So think about subwoofers, speakers, DJ. You walk into a auditorium filled with 1,000 students, and the first thing we do is an icebreaker, and we call it music trivia, right? We'll play some songs that we know that they know.
Okay.
They get some free swag. That's why I brought the CSL hats and the wristbands here.
There it is.
When they know the song, and it could be their favorite artist, and they get crazy. And they're like, oh, I got the free snapback, or oh, I got the free shirt. And all of a sudden, we've created this automatic trust with them. They're like, oh, wow, they're kind of cool. They're not, too cheesy. All right. And, we meet them where they're at with that, and then we go a little bit deeper. We show them a video about who we are, what we do. Then we do some live music. We have motivational speakers share their stories of self-worth. So this whole hour and 20 minutes, roughly, these kids are having highs and low moments, but it's with authentic testimony about people that have had maybe an adversity that they had to overcome, whether it was with addiction.
Right.
Sometimes it's not that. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it's also very serious, and we always have a great takeaway moment at the end for them to come up and talk with us and sign a Clean Slate pledge poster. We don't force the students to do it, but every time that we do an event, young people will sign that poster declaring their self-worth, declaring that they're starting fresh, and it gives them an opportunity to start fresh with their administration and their teachers, too.
Wow. So I know you remember.
Matty, do you have anything after the event that you're taking these students in and taking them to a next level?
Yes, we do. What we'll do is we'll do youth concerts. We'll align with local organizations that will provide space, and it'll be basically an extended version of what they saw in the schools. So that's one avenue that we'll take. We'll say, all right, come to this youth concert Friday night. You're going to love it. You're going to get to hang out with us more and break bread and just really love on the kids and let them open up more. The other thing we'll do is we'll have youth leaders from the community, mentors, people that might be even of different organizations than ours, so that they can intercept the kids right afterwards. So if there's someone that's at risk, not only will administration and counselors know, but a local mentor or someone that we vetted that is a local executive director of an organization can connect with them. So that way they have a safe place to continue, because it is difficult when you're in Georgia doing this and now you've made this connection. You go, all right, now what do we do with these people we just met in Georgia? And that's where we always have to partner with somebody. Yeah.
Wow. So and you're finding you're getting a lot of feedback from that. A lot of people coming to you afterwards, because I would imagine you touched their lives when you did the seminar there, and then all of a sudden now what do? So this is great. So they can always reach out to you afterwards.
Always reach out
and keep in contact.
Instagram, believe it or not, is our biggest bridge, because the kids are always on Instagram. So I'll have a kid that'll see us, and then a year later he's like, hey, I just wanted to check in and let you know I miss you guys. And it's never weird. We always have multiple people checking our social media, so it's not like, oh, I'm going to get in contact with Matt at midnight and they think it's me. Usually it's many different people that will check these sites and respond on my behalf or someone else. So we have this accountability in place too for the young people if they do need to connect with a professional. We're not professionals. We always remind them, I don't have my own office to sit down and counsel, but we have people that we trust that can do that. So, yeah, it's a big part of it.
Wow. So where are you actually servicing people? I know you've been everywhere throughout you're out of the country, too, right?
Yeah, we've been all over the country, been out of the country. We've been the country of Guyana. That was a fun one. We went to Belize in Central America, and then in the States, of course, we've been to places like Florida, Texas, Georgia, New York, Connecticut. New York is our home base, obviously, and we love doing things here in the state of New York, especially in the tri-state area. So it's one of those things that we're always open to new territory, but we don't want to forget where we came from. We love our young kids here on Long Island, and we want to be here and make sure that they know we're here for them long term.
Yeah, I get it. So you have I know you have a few events coming up. We want to talk about some of your events so we can get them out there. So
absolutely, yeah. Next month, if you're a walker or a runner, this is for all those that say, well, I don't know if I could run. You can walk. We have a 5K walk against addiction, but runners are welcome. And what that looks like is there's no official timer for the runner community. I know they always want a timer, but we've had enough runners show up now where we say, you know what, let's do both. Let's have them run. We have our walkers, and it's a walk against addiction. That could be anything. It doesn't just mean the serious stuff of the heroin epidemic here on Long Island, but it could be, hey, I know someone that's addicted to porn. I'm going to go walk in, their addiction. I'm going to walk in proxy, or I'm addicted to eating too much sugar. Whatever that addiction is, whatever level you're at or whatever phase, it's a walk against that, and then we're going to have some testimonies and food and just get a chance to get to know one another afterwards. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Saturday, September 14th, Heckscher State Park in Great River, also known as East Islip area. It's depending on what Google map you use or what app you use there.
And folks, that's a great event.
Did they register beforehand, Matt?
You can register beforehand on our site, cleanslateliving.org, and you can get sponsored, so you don't have to worry about, well, how much do I have to raise? It's $40 minimum to raise to get a free shirt or a free hat, and then after that, it all goes back to our nonprofit. We are a 501c3, and we do breathe and live off of donations.
Wow. Awesome, and I've been at this event. I've run this one actually a few times. So this is actually a great event, folks. If you're out there listening, please come out and join and support Clean Slate Living at this event at Heckscher State Park, September 14th, because it's phenomenal. I've done it. A great turnout. You always do well with that, and there's so many good people, and you're always learning and just communicating with great people. What about any other ones? You had the other one.
Yeah, we're going to be in Half Hollow Hills East High School in November for the students there, the ninth graders. They've had us now for over 6 years. What a great relationship we've had with the Hills East schools there. And we're going to be doing a presentation. So that's one that we have locally. We have a lot of things that are tentative, so I can't shout them out yet. That's one of the things that we try to be careful with because we're just trying to navigate through the scheduling. But that's one coming up. And we're still booking schools for the fall. So if there's someone that you know that's an administrator or a superintendent or a PTA president and you want us there, I know last year we had a great time in the fall in the Sachem School District in Suffolk County where we hit every high school and middle school, which was a lot of fun. So if there's a district that any of those listeners out there are saying, ooh, I've got somewhere that they need to go, we'd love to be that refreshment to the students.
How would you want any of the listeners reaching out, that they're listening? How would you want them to reach out to you if they want to get you in a school, they want to get you involved in?
Absolutely. On our Facebook like page, which is The Real Clean Slate Living, or you can go on our Instagram, which is Clean Slate Living, and you can also go to our website, cleanslateliving.org. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Great.
You're doing some great things, Matt. You're doing some really, really good things for the kids, man. The local ones, national ones. I mean, this is something, you have a gift. I know I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but you have a freaking gift, man, and you're sharing it, and your message is getting out, my man. Be proud of that. Your message is getting out. Let me ask you, like a lot of guys and girls that are out there that they found their mission, they found their drive. It all stems from what you opened up with, which is your own story.
Right.
Why don't you get in, Matt, and just share what your story was, because it's obviously resonating with the kids that you're speaking to, and it's because you've been through the shit. Like You've experienced it. You were an addict, and that I think holds so much weight because look at where you're standing now. So what is your message when you go out? And your story, like, share that with us.
Right, yeah. So I grew up in suburban Long Island, fell in love with hip-hop. It was my additional sport. A lot of times people would say, oh, you're a rapper, but I was an athlete just like Wayne, but I had this gift for hip-hop, for rapping and freestyling. So I fell into that culture, and I was able to get pretty far in pursuing independent record deals and opportunities. And one of the things that happened outside of the culture was that pressure of like, how can I get to the next level? And I started not only becoming the life of the party guy as an identity crisis, but I also realized that I was addicted to alcohol, and the alcohol led me to an addiction of cocaine. And a lot of people would be like, oh, that was always the secret drug, right? That don't say that you do that if you're a cokehead. And that was a big mask I had on, was hiding that from my friends and family, that I was addicted to cocaine, and it led me away from the music, led me away from my dreams, led me away from everything. And I literally lost everything, ended up in my parents' basement, with no money, in debt, saying, wow, how am I going to overcome this? I had to literally clean my slate and start over. And that was the beginning portion of it. Now, one of the things that I don't get to share in the schools because of religion and state is that was my faith in Jesus. That was my faith in God. Everyone has a faith in some sort of religion. Those that are atheists, that's a different lane, right? But for me, it was my faith that got me through it, and that rebuilding, that I had to start fresh with my faith with God and say, all right, God, like, start over, help me. And I identified my self-worth through what He's called me and who He's called me to be. So for me, it was a faith moment, but it was also a lot of loving family that came around me and said, you know what? We're going to help you through this, Matt. I had accountability partners. I had people that said, you do have a gift, but you got to get on the right path. So what I did was I surrounded myself with people that weren't toxic, people that weren't going to drag me down. I got away from the party animals, the friends of mine that only wanted topical Matt, and I stayed with people like Wayne that wanted Matt from the in-depth person that he was called to be. So for me, for those young people that are wrestling with that, I hit that right away, and I let them know, hey, you can break this with the right accountability and the right people in your life.
Wow, good stuff. So, folks, we're gonna come back to the story because there's a lot more to talk about that. So, folks, if you're just tuning in, this is Wayne Hartard and Billy Alvaro with Easy Sell Property Solutions. If you have a home you're looking to sell, please reach out to us, 631-400-EASY. That's 631-400-EASY. You could reach us on the web at easysell411.com. Any homes that you're looking to sell, we're looking to purchase, it does not matter any condition, as is condition. We can close on your timeline whenever you're looking to close. Pick up the phone, give us a call, 631-400-EASY. We'll be right back after this message. Welcome back to the second half of Cashing Out. This is Wayne Hartard and Billy Alvaro from Easy Sell Property Solutions. And today we have a very, very special guest, an old friend of mine since I was a young guy, probably 5-6 years old, Matty Pisani from Slate Living. And he's been telling us all his story and everything about Slate Living and what they're doing for the community around here in Long Island. So, folks, if you're ever out there and you're looking to get involved or you want to get in touch with Matt, I mean, Slate Living is all over the place. You can get them on Instagram. You can get them on Facebook. You could reach out to them. They do have a number. It's 631-600-3275, correct, Matty?
That's it.
Yeah, perfect. So, Matty, before we went to break, I know we were just kind of touching about your story. Billy was asking you about it and how it came to fruition and what you're doing. And I just want to recap on that, on the message that you're getting out there to the schools and to the people, and how you've infused that, how you were able to wipe your slate clean, start all over. I know you said it was a little bit of a faith in God, but if you want to just retouch on that, and I want to talk a little bit more about that message of Clean Slate Living, where you're going to go with it.
Yeah, so we had this vision, me and some close friends, and we said, what if we went and started reaching out? And I went to a spot in Huntington Station, and it was a small youth center, and I said, I'm just going to go there and tell these kids my story. And when I went in there, I brought a friend of mine who was a police officer at the time, who loves kids and loves the community, and I had another gentleman who was actually originally part of the whole American Gangster era, with Nicky Barnes, all these guys. He was a bad dude, and a gentleman by the name of Bobby Lloyd, who I love, and is a great brother. And we went and we spoke to these young kids, and I started telling the kids my story, and they were laughing. They're like, "What? They're like, this guy, come on!" And then all of a sudden, I told them that I rapped. And now it was like, okay, well, you better show us, because now the phones are out, and it was like, you better spit something. And I had to spit some raps, and that's when the kids were like, oh, wow, this guy's credible, and he cares. He's not just talking.
It wasn't just talking about it. It was action.
So that was like the first mind-blowing thing where I realized my friends you got to start rapping from the beginning, man, because you're going to lose these kids. I was like, you're right, because we know as adults we have these short attention spans. So we started there, and then it blew up into this, let's start doing them at youth groups and at schools. Hempstead High School was our first public school, and they loved it. And then we went to Riverhead High School. We started hitting different high schools, doing and building, and then it became this social media movement as well, where we started putting music out through social media on YouTube and on the different digital music platforms. So there was something that the kids were resonating with the music and our story, specifically my story. And one of the things that a lot of the kids always would ask me is, well, where can I find your music? And it's interesting. So going back to my story of getting clean and starting over, I always said, I'll never do music again because it brought me back to too much dirt and too much of my negativity in my life. So I felt like I had this shame still about it. And one of the things that I tell the students now is, I had to lay my microphone down for a season, and then I picked it back up. In other words, sometimes you have to lay down your gifts and talents to get your mind, body, and soul right, get healthy, and then go back to what you were called to do. So it was a season of refreshment and restoration, and even, in my case, mentorship with others, with people, men of integrity. And then I was able to go back out there and give my 110%. And through that, it was, negative money. I was living with Wayne in his houses, and, he was charging me very discounted rent, which was, basically probably went back to a lot of fun times. So, we're building this branding, we're building this organization and this platform for self-worth, but it was a lot of traveling and doing things that you love to do, but basically just going and trying to get that message out there, giving out thousands of wristbands. This wristband is where it all started, because we didn't have money for snapback hats in our budget or dad hats or dry fit shirts. So we would order the wristbands, and I would give them to everyone that I would meet and say, hey, you have a chance to clean your slate and to rewrite it tomorrow. And the cool thing about that is that it became a movement by itself. I'll never forget, I met Hubert Davis down at Chapel Hill. He was walking out of his office at UNC, and Hubert Davis played for the Knicks, and he was a real cool guy. And it was just like, I called them divine appointments. I just met him as he was leaving for the day, and I just hammered him. I'm like, hey, check out my stuff. And, I loved you playing for the Knicks. And he was so excited that he's like, you know what? Come back tomorrow, and I want to show you around the campus. And I remember the next day he wasn't available, but his assistant had us go into the arena and see different things. And we left him and his family some of the Rewrite Tomorrow gear. And right then it started connecting with me that this isn't just for kids. This is for the adult. This is for the college student. This is for the parent that has the college student. This is for everyone to get behind. This isn't just about going into schools, but this is a movement for all of us to say, man, I want to live a healthy lifestyle. This is clean slate living a healthy lifestyle and defining my self-worth and my purpose.
Yeah. And you're hitting every age demographic because everybody needs to wipe their slate clean. Yeah. It's something you just brought up, which was a great thing, is that you've reinvented yourself many, many times. But from the rapping, I remember as a kid, it was different type of rap. This was I don't even call this rough gangster rap. This is a different rap.
I was never a gangster, but I had some friends that were it was some bad dudes.
Yeah, and that was a completely different message. So I love that you were able to then put that down and then come back and because it was your calling. You were phenomenal when it came to motivational speaking. When it came to rapping, I remember as a kid, you always had that. Yeah. You were able to put that down and reinvent yourself, and now your true calling because you are now. You're doing a lot of music again, so talk about that because I know you got Rewrite Records and you have so you're getting your message out there, but the right way now, which is, it's great.
We took the parental advisory sticker off the records and we said, you know what, we don't need that to grab attention. And I think it's harder for lyricists nowadays to rap with a positive message eloquently and still give something back to the listener that's into hip hop culture. Because I was spoiled to be around hip hop in the 90s and I loved it and I had a lot of fun. But now it's all about self-worth. It's about music that can fill you up so that you can pour out to others. So this new music that we have, like the Worthy song, which is out right now, Worthy is on every music platform, whether it's iTunes or Spotify and YouTube and all these different places. You can listen to this song featuring a good friend of mine, Olga, and the song is specifically declaring our self-worth. So when we do this song at schools, it gives the students a chance to sing along. We have the lyrics up there, and it's a powerful move because a lot of the students have never heard of us before, but yet they're singing a song and declaration of their self-worth within an hour of getting to know us as if they're at a concert of their favorite artist. And we're not doing it because of the artistry, but we're doing it that we can give them another takeaway. Hey, this is more music for you. If you want to define us as an artist, go for it. But this music is for you to listen to and remind you of what you've encountered today as far as clean slate living and rewriting your tomorrow.
And it's resonating because they eat it up. Yeah. Do we have a clip? I think we have a clip of some of that stuff. Yeah. Joe, do we have it?
Second guess, your price is in his eyes. No need to stress, yes. Sticks and stones can't hurt me. I don't care what they say, I'm worthy. Hashtag me too, I'm priceless. I refuse to sit amongst the silence. Sticks and stones can't hurt me. I don't care what they say, I'm worthy. Hashtag me too, I'm priceless. I refuse to sit amongst the silence.
Good stuff. So so there's always tell us a bit about the message. You're writing these lyrics. This is how you get your point across. I love
meeting all these young people give you fresh inspiration, and I believe that staying on the straight and narrow path is always harder than being the addict or being the life of the party guy. So if we can show them that it's cool to be authentic and it's cool not to follow the crowd, and even doing music with excellence, it's huge because now they have this newfound purpose, this newfound identity of doing what they love, whether it's art, sports, but they don't have to conform to the ways of this world. In other words, there's this certain type of musician that everyone says, you have to be like them, or this certain type of athlete, you have to be like that person or that actor. And we're trying to give them an outlet and say, no, you don't have to do that. So in this song, it's declaring that they're breaking agreements with lies they've been told, and they're starting fresh, and they're getting an opportunity to declare their self-worth. So it's a fun song, it's a great track, and it's reaching a lot of young people.
And that's a new one, right? That's that one that's just coming out?
That's been out almost a year. We have a new one coming out. It's called Free, and that was an awesome track as well. And that's actually featuring my wife, Melissa, who couldn't be here today. Shout out to her because she's the leader from behind. She's home with baby Mercy right now. But it's just another song, and it's a way for us to model our marriage in the midst of doing the presentations because we believe that the family unit is very important to this self-worth topic. So when they see husband and wife serving together, loving one another, when they see baby Mercy chilling in the back, raising her hands, it shows them an opportunity that they can pursue, a goal that's realistic and healthy for their future.
Love it, love it. And tell us a little bit about Rewrite Records, because that's the record label, correct?
That was the record label, and then we decided to shelve it, as many business plans sometimes go south, right? We're all entrepreneurs listening in. We decided to just put it all under Clean Slate Living. That way, if people stream the music, they buy the music, it's going back into the nonprofit, so it can be considered a tax deduction in certain cases, right?
Okay.
So a lot of those things, people say, oh, I like that. So that way, if we need a big production budget, someone can write a check towards the donation of that. And now it gives people this opportunity that they're giving back even through the music. So, yeah, we've brought it all under one umbrella. It's just easier that way.
Easier.
You know? It's just
wow. So if people want to hear all the music, I know you said
all
iTunes,
Slate,
Spotify,
iTunes.
You can get it all through Clean Slate.
Yeah.
Where could everybody get all that?
It's right under my name. You Google my name, and you should see, I'll spell it out, M-A-T-T, and the last name is P as in Paul, I-S-A, and as in Nathan, I. You Google that, and it'll all come up. You'll see all the songs. Rewrite Tomorrow song. You see the Follow Me Now song that we filmed in a Easy Sell property, I believe it was. And was that an Easy Sell?
Or that was Huntington.
Or was that a Max Return?
Well, they were all the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
so
Easy
Billy,
Sell.
you would have enjoyed that one. We were in the garage.
I remember that, actually.
Filming that video.
You remember
and
that?
People thought I was in a parking garage in the Bronx. I was like, oh, actually, no, that was Huntington in someone's house.
You remember that big house, Bill? That was that one on the corner over there. That
Yeah,
huge
the one
house on the hill.
Yeah.
We lived in that one, and that whole garage had
the corner of
the
Oakwood,
big
right?
steel beam going through it, and it looked like a warehouse.
It looked like a warehouse.
It looked like a warehouse in that garage.
That's the beauty of today's technology. You don't have to rent out a warehouse anymore.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. And I still remember your first event, which was at that Huntington Learning Center.
Yeah, right.
That was the one.
Station.
So I remember going to that one.
Yep.
So I remember seeing, and I remember seeing this whole entire business. You guys having your first meeting, starting this.
Yeah.
I love it because a fellow entrepreneur, seeing how you built it together.
Organic growth. That's all we go for. And through that it's led to strategic business partnerships through the years, which is a lot of fun too.
So looking at this now, I mean, obviously you guys are going almost 7 years strong. Where do you see where do you want to take the business now? Where do you see it going in the next couple of years and the next 10 years?
Yeah, nonprofit organizations are a business. A lot of people are unaware of that, but we want the model to leave New York eventually. In other words, we want to plant these around the country. We've seen such a need. There's only one Matt. There's only one Melissa. There's only a few of us that are able to keep the vision going. There's probably roughly 20 some odd volunteers involved with Clean Slate Living, including our board. So we want to see people that have an interest in planting these. In other words, there'd be a Clean Slate Living in every major city in the country. We want to see there be young people that are living with self-worth and purpose and living with integrity that would want to volunteer to help convey the message. So we see that as one lane, but we also see our social media and our media platform growing. Our YouTube page right now, if you check it out, Clean Slate Living, and subscribe there, please. We have a Worthy series where you can listen to people's self-worth stories. They're very powerful. We just released the 8th episode, and just quick hits. You get to learn about someone's story. It's that encouraging word for the day that you might need to keep going. So that's something that we see that would be really important for us, just to keep getting that YouTube page growing and migrating young people there so they could bring in some healthy content into their lives.
So listeners out there can go on there and they can look for somebody that maybe is having the same issue they had, maybe a drug addiction or whatever it may be. You're saying the porn thing, or you're saying the sex thing, or the whatever, and they can. Oh, that's great. That's
and they can
stuff.
just send that video to a friend. There's times I've probably sent them to you. Sometimes I'll send these videos out and say, hey, you might know someone that needs to watch this. And usually we always get a confirmation from someone. Yeah, I needed that today. Thank you.
It's all about giving back. It's all about that mindset.
Yeah.
You can that
kindness is contagious.
That one video could change their lives. They were on the brink of suicide or whatever it may have been. That one video makes a difference.
Yeah.
I love how you guys have given back.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. So, folks, I just want to actually talk. I want to get your events out there too, because I know we're on the second piece. So just tell everybody about that upcoming event that you have in Heckscher too.
Yeah, so the
5K.
I know we had spoke briefly about it. So it's Heckscher State Park. Registration is at 8 a.m. on September 14th. It's a Saturday morning. You come into the park. There'll be signage, and you'll be able to walk or run against addiction. And we just want to create this movement on Long Island where people know that Clean Slate's here to stay. And they can be a part of this every year. And they could be a part of volunteering to help out. They could be a business sponsor. We've had a lot of business sponsors in the past. Thanks to Ren Janarine at Allstate Insurance. He sponsors us with almost every event. So Allstate Insurance. We just had a nice grant given to us by Walmart. Shout out to Walmart. United Way out in Sacramento, constantly giving to us on a quarterly basis. In the past, even NASDAQ, which was huge, supporting us. We did the opening bell with them. So
how'd you get on there? Maybe
how did that happen, man? How did you get on NASDAQ?
Yeah, so the NASDAQ story, to encourage everyone at home, that's just don't give up on your vision, because we had this vision of Rewrite Tomorrow, and we had trademarked our merchandise for Clean Slate Living and Rewrite Tomorrow. And as we were running out of money, the Rewrite Tomorrow trademark was abandoned for a little while. But we're like, who would possibly want to use this slogan? I got a call from a friend of mine, and it happened to be Ren, and he goes, hey, the NASDAQ's got Rewrite Tomorrow as a slogan. And I was like, what? So, of course, you're not going to go against $1 billion company, but you stole what we had. It was more like a compliment. Like, wow, we've got $1 billion business on our hands, and NASDAQ just confirmed it. So I reached out to Jeremy Skule, the CMO of NASDAQ. Shout out to Jeremy. And he actually said, we love what you're doing, and we want to have you do an opening bell. So we were on a waiting list. I was working in my office. My wife emails me or calls me and goes, check the email. And NASDAQ said, hey, there's an opening tomorrow morning. Can you come into Times Square and do the morning bell? So our daughter was 3 months, and we said, we got to go, but we got to be in Times Square by like 5 in the morning. So we did it. We got the baby up. She was a trooper. We had whatever volunteers were available to come. We invited whoever could come, but it was such short notice. We went on. We were on every national television station, including, I believe, Fox Business, Bloomberg, and they treated us like royalty. It was awesome. And it was just a great partnership, because one of the things for you entrepreneurs out there, what you'll realize is that trademarking can be very strategic. In other words, Rewrite Tomorrow, we do now have it trademarked after learning from that lesson. But it didn't matter because NASDAQ uses it for a whole different purpose than us. So there was no like, I'm going to sue them situation. It was more like they're in their lane, we're in our lane. We're using it for merchandise. They're using it for financial purposes. So it was a strategic and healthy partnership that they were able to not only give to our gala of that year of 2017, I believe it was 2018 of last year. We had Darryl Strawberry come and speak at our gala, and NASDAQ helped with sponsoring that night, along with other major companies, Panzer Demolition, many others, Pellegrino Paving, local places, a lot of people that wrote checks to make sure that we could do the night, that we could fund it. So it was a big domino effect. We had NASDAQ, where Clean Slate Living was all over Times Square during rush hour on a morning heading to work.
That's awesome.
And they asked me to speak. I had nothing prepared, so all glory to God on that one. I was able to speak and share my Clean Slate story in a secular manner and give that out. So it was huge, Billy and Wayne, and it was such an honor for the NASDAQ now. When you Google Rewrite Tomorrow, they've got the first page of Google now because they've got it, and then we've got it right behind them. So it's pretty cool. We've got this.
What a great story.
That's a phenomenal
You can't
story.
make this stuff. This
you
is how it
couldn't make
happens.
that one up.
So make sure, entrepreneurs, that you've got everything in line. Because one thing that I learned from being on the hip-hop side to being in straight businesses, you've got to be prepared for the next step. If my wife and I did not have the proper vector logos ready for those billboards in Times Square, that CSL logo never goes up to Times Square. If we didn't have every element prepared and ready to go, you don't know when they're going to call. So that's one of my messages for the young women out there and the young men that are starting their businesses. Get prepared. Don't give up. Don't say, I don't know how this is ever going to happen, because things can happen very uniquely, and if you're not prepared for it, you'll miss that opportunity. So get everything prepared legally behind the scenes, but also up front, so that when you get that call, you're ready to hit. You're ready to go.
Literally snap of a finger. You're
Snap
running.
of a
You're
finger.
running in, and you're on that.
You're running in with your
NASDAQ.
3-month-old.
I remember you telling me about
TV.
that. I remember watching it. I was like, oh my god, I was in awe. I was so proud. I couldn't have been
humbling.
more proud of you. I mean, overnight. And look at what the folks are looking at that. Look at that one piece. What it opened up. It opened up the doors for 10 other things for you.
It always does. It always does.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's honestly a great story. Not many people can say they're on NASDAQ and they open the bell.
Yeah, it was fun.
You guys had a blast. Wow. So, folks, I know if you're out there listening, please, if you guys ever want to reach out and you want to get Clean Slate Living involved, I mean, these are wholeheartedly one of the best people on Long Island. They're helping communities everywhere, from the young generation all the way up to our generation and above. Reach out to them at cleanslateliving.org or hit them up on Facebook and Instagram. They do have a phone number you can get them on. It's 631-600-3275 for all the people that aren't on social media. I know there's some old school people out there still using phones, but
hit us up, call us.
631-600-3275. They would love to help you get these guys involved. I've personally I've seen many of your seminars. I've been to the schools. I've seen what you've done.
Yes, thanks for the support, by the way.
Yeah, I've never, I would have fell asleep if somebody came to one of my high schools and gave a speech. Yours is very, very powerful. I wish we had clips to show people, but I'm sure, folks, if you go on some of their sites, you'll see what it is. It's
check out
high
the YouTube
energy,
channel.
motivation. I mean, it's just literally, you can get so much from their events. I can't tell you enough. I've been to them. I've seen them. I've seen this business grow from the beginning building blocks, and it's just great. There's a lot of passion behind it. You have the drive, and your story, you're really giving back. It's really comes from your story and what you went through. So attest to you, man, really giving back.
Trying.
You're trying.
Day by day.
Day by day. So any other events or anything that you want to tell anybody about before we do get out of here?
Yeah, I would just say again, the media on YouTube, worthy videos are out. Repost them. There's 8 videos. Would love for those to get out there. We have one with a brother of mine, Chris Costello, who was a big part of our organization, who had passed away at the end of December.
That was very recent. Right?
And Chris was one of our main speakers, and he just had such a heart for the vision. He was an ambassador and a pillar of Clean Slate Living. So that video is always a great one for people to see, along with many others that are on there. And we have more coming. So just stay tuned with our YouTube and our Instagram, and just feel free. If there's something that you think we can do to help, let us know. We'd love to be involved.
Awesome. Bill, you have anything else?
No, man.
Hey, lose you?
I'm pissed I'm not there, actually, because I would have loved to have been there face-to-face with you guys. But honestly, Matt, you're doing some really wonderful things, bro. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Everybody needs hope, and everybody needs to be reminded that they can, in fact, rewrite tomorrow. I absolutely love that slogan. I love what you're doing. And anyway, myself and Winnie's Easy Sell can support your organization, man. We're here for you.
Thanks so much.
Great. So, folks, we're just going to wrap up. I want to thank Matty for being on. I wanted you to reach out to him if you ever can. If you do have a house you're looking to sell, please reach out to Billy and I. 631-400-EASY. That's 631-400-EASY. Or reach us on the web at easysell411.com, or you can hit us up on Unstoppable BA over on Instagram, or Wayne Hartot on Instagram. We're on every social media, so please reach out. 631-400-EASY. And we'll see you next Saturday. Take care, guys.
Thank you.